Jesus Christ, what a fucking week thus far, and we're just getting started. I got a lot to talk about, so with that being said, there you go. Roll that intro. Roll that damn intro. Alright, so yes, obviously I'm back at it in here for quite a few things. It's been one hell of a week thus far, talking about the Enzo Amore situation, talking about a little bit on Raw 25, and of course NXT Takeover, Philadelphia Predictions, and the Royal Rumble 2018 pay-per-view predictions. And just gonna get right down into it, talking about the whole Enzo Amore situation of him being accused of raping somebody back in October and everything. So I saw this too, like it happened on Twitter. I was hearing about it and it was just really weird. It didn't really seem to add up and everything, not only to me but my friends and stuff like that who's been following the situation. So hopefully it isn't true, and hopefully he isn't guilty in that and he's not guilty, and things will be fine on that, and then things can just move on. I know he had to give up the Cruiserweight Championship. He was supposed to defend it against Cedric Alexander this upcoming Sunday, so this past weekend, and going into Raw 25, I should say, it has been just pretty damn crazy and a mess, and hopefully things aren't true with this and it just just gets out of the way, and then we'll see what happens. But who knows what's going to be happening next for Enzo Amore. We'll just have to find out and see what else is going to be happening next, and hopefully, yeah, like I said, it isn't true. And getting into the next thing, where we have Raw 25. Now also too, what was interesting about the whole Cruiserweight title situation, and Daniel Bryan actually mentioning that of course the Cruiserweight title is vacant, and now we're going to be having a new general manager for 205 Live, which is fine. Having it be a new manager, I'm not too sure who, maybe a former Cruiserweight or somebody like that, or somebody completely new, or a former general manager in their own right. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I'm sure Cedric Alexander is going to be facing obviously somebody else, which makes sense, and they'll probably get the Cruiserweight title. Maybe other Cruiserweights will come back, since I know there hasn't been a whole lot going at a 205 Live, and hopefully things will get better. And I would like to see the Cruiserweights be once the way how they used to be, since they were always exciting, and most of the time they start SmackDown. When they're on SmackDown, they used to have like Cruiserweight Opens and stuff like that, which was really cool and what really stood out for the Cruiserweights. So things should be turning around. I know they were fucked before, but now hopefully things will get a lot more better and turn out for the better. Who knows, but we'll just have to see where things go. Then from there we get into brief thoughts about Raw 25, and for the most part, I mean, it started off really great, don't get me wrong, but towards the end and everything else, it just kind of just felt weird after that, and it could have been done a lot more differently. The Manhattan Center didn't really get a whole lot, which is pretty sad and pretty pathetic, and it's kind of fucked up too, if you ask me, on how that happened. If you're gonna do that, at least, if I was dealing with things, I know some of the SmackDown talent was there on Raw, I would have at least had the SmackDown stars be at the Manhattan Center and show more stuff, and maybe have, have where in the Manhattan Center you can have like maybe an hour or two or something like that there, and then go to the Barclays Center and stuff like that, just to work things out a little bit more differently. I mean, it was cool seeing people like Stone Cold, we had DX and all that other stuff basically there, with some legends returning, and we saw a couple of matches. We had The Miz regaining and having the Intercontinental Championship back with him and stuff like that, and a couple of things here and there, but overall it was, I will say, it's cool seeing the legends, but it just felt weird overall. So yeah, anyway, still congrats to Raw 25. 25 years is pretty crazy. I've been watching Raw for a long time. I've reviewed it here and there. It's been a long time since I actually reviewed Raw, to be honest, on this channel and everything, so I don't know if that's something you guys want to see again. I haven't done that too, like I said, for a while. Maybe I'll get to do that again, who knows. It's just been so fucking long. So yeah, that's my brief thoughts. And like I said, cool seeing the legends, but it was just weird overall, and it could have been a little bit done more differently, but it is what it is when it comes to that. So that's basically it when it comes to brief thoughts on Raw 25. Alright, also too, before I get into everything else with the predictions, I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine with Clorinda. I know she's trying to help her channel out, get more views and everything else, so definitely go check her out. I know she does the cosplay thing and a couple of other stuff, a bunch of different stuff on her channel, so definitely be sure to check her out, since I know I was looking to help her out, not only just promote the channel on my fan page on Facebook, and now here is the well-awaited shout out. So definitely go give her a look, check out her channel, and we'll see what happens with that, and then definitely subscribe there, so definitely well worth it. So there you go. Alright, so then we get into the predictions part of all this, when we got starting things off in NXT Takeover Philadelphia. Got the tablet here, got cage side seats right on the tablet with the match listings, and what we got here, gonna start things off with the women's title, where we got Ember Moon, and most likely gonna be facing Shayna Baszler or Kairi Sane, but most likely Shayna Baszler on this one, which seems to be the case on that. And I know Shayna basically was in part of the tournament with the Mae Young Classic and everything, so I don't think she'll get the title right away. Maybe at some point I can see that, but not exactly right now. So I do see Ember Moon keeping her title, which makes sense, and we'll see what things go on forward to see what other feuds we'll have for Ember Moon. Then I got a match here that looking to possibly may or may not happen, but it's here anyway. It shows Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce or Billie Kay, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's a filler match or whatever, if you want to put it that way, if there's something else, or if this is the match that's going to be there, which is fine too. So in a way, it could go either or, but I'll go with Nikki Cross on this one, just to have that win for sanity there. And then speaking of sanity, we got the tag team titles on the line between Sanity and the Undisputed Era, continuing that thing. It would be cool to see Sanity win, but I feel like Undisputed Era is going to continue their reign as tag team champions, and I like what they're doing as a tag team champion so far, so that's what I'm going to go with. And then we got the Extreme Rules match between Aleister Black and Adam Cole. This one, I'm undecided on who I want to win. It could go either or, basically seems to be the theme. So I'm kind of in the way leaning more towards Aleister Black, but if Adam Cole gets a win, that wouldn't really surprise me either. So I'm going to go with Aleister Black most likely, but again, it's either or when it comes to matches like these and stuff like that. So there you go. And then we got Johnny Gargano and Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship. I'm hoping Johnny Gargano will get the title, and I'm sure maybe Tommaso Ciampa will probably show up somehow, and then either he's gonna probably cost Johnny Gargano the match, which would kind of suck on that, and then Andrade Cien Almas might actually probably get the win, who knows, depending on how Tommaso Ciampa is really doing. I know he's been injured, and haven't really heard any news updates on him in terms of injury updates, so I'm kind of basically going at it as up in the air at this point, so I don't really know, unless you guys know what the status is, and you can definitely leave that in the comments and we'll discuss that. So yeah, that's basically NXT Takeover Philadelphia predictions. As always, should be very enjoyable. I always look forward to takeovers and everything the night before a major pay-per-view, so that should be pretty interesting, and now that it'll be in Philadelphia, so who knows what else could happen. So it's definitely going to be well worth it, so we'll see what else happens there for NXT Takeover Philadelphia. Alright, so then there's only one more thing left, and that is just the Royal Rumble 2018 pay-per-view predictions. So yeah, a lot to be going in this video, kind of a lengthy one, but hey, it is what it is. A lot has been happening lately within this week alone, so why not just get it all in one video? So we'll get right into it. And it really isn't about the mid-card championships, and it shows here, from what I have here on a tablet by CBS, that there's looking to be the Intercontinental Championship and United States Championship. I won't really say that, but I don't really think it's going to be happening for the titles and everything. But with that said, I'm sure there'll probably be some other matches too, especially for the kickoff and stuff like that, since there really isn't any. And I know the Cruiserweight Championship isn't going to be happening now, so I would expect some other matches to be there. So I won't say what's supposed to be happening there, but you know, I'm sure there'll be other matches, and I will say that. So we'll get into the main card anyway with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships between the Usos, Chad Gable, and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And this one, I think Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, I think it would be pretty cool to see them as the Tag Team Champions and to actually get the win here. And if the Usos win, hey, that's fine with me, but I feel like we might get new Tag Team Champions. Getting into that, we move on to the Raw Tag Team Champions, where we have Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan taking on The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus. And with this, I know for Jason Jordan, he's been dealing with the injury, so depending on how things are going with that, I can see Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, depending how the injury is and stuff, retaining if things are fine. But if not, I'm sure The Bar will probably somehow, some way, get the tag team titles back. So for now, I'll go with Jason Jordan and for Seth Rollins to actually retain the titles, depending on how the injury is, of course. And then we get into the WWE Championship match, where we got a 2-on-1 handicap match between AJ Styles, of course, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And this is pretty interesting. If we do have that for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to be both the WWE champions, so it'd be curious to see how that's going to do. The last time I remember dual champions, or you know, two people holding one championship, was with Michelle McCool and Layla with the women's championship, which kind of sucks that they had that with the women's championship being broken apart. That part I don't like, but of course that's not going to be the case this time, which is good. At least I hope not, because otherwise that would fucking suck. But with that said, you know, it would be cool to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn get the win, but I feel like AJ Styles is going to still be champion going into WrestleMania, so I'll go with AJ Styles there. And then we got Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, and Kane in the vintage triple threat match. And I know Brock Lesnar matches have been short lately, but the triple threat, that remains to be seen, so that might be a different story on this. And as much as I want to see Braun Strowman get the win, that would be really dope to see. And kind of interesting to see if Kane would get the win too for another world title one, but I don't really see that, so it's either going to be Brock Lesnar or Braun Strowman, but I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar in this one, just to be, I guess, safe on that. And yeah, there you go. Then we got the first time ever Women's Royal Rumble, so now we got not one, but 2 Royal Rumble matches. So I don't know, I think the Women's Royal Rumble match will probably open the show. That would be pretty cool to see, and I'm sure we'll be seeing returning women's wrestlers like Victoria and stuff like that, Molly Holly, Jacqueline probably, I'm sure. So I know Trish Stratus is looking to lace up the boots and everything, basically mentioned that on Twitter, wanting to see where her boots were and everything. So besides Trish Stratus and Mickie James going for the picks there, but I think Asuka will probably end up winning, or it could be somebody else that we don't know and someone totally unexpected. Then we'll see how that's going to be happening and everything like that. So I think overall probably going to go with Asuka, but you never really know, so it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm curious to see who else is going to show up in the Women's Royal Rumble. Maybe some debuts, some NXT call-ups most likely, so we'll have to wait and see there. And then we got the Men's Royal Rumble, of course. And with that, I think overall, I'm going with Shinsuke Nakamura on that so far. As of right now, my opinions could change, especially for both Royal Rumbles and everything. So it's really cool. I really like the Royal Rumble. I was lucky enough to be a part of it in 2008, a part of the numbers, so that's pretty historic there. So that's pretty damn dope. And yeah, so a lot has been said here, and I think that's pretty much where I'm going to end things off with your own thoughts on everything that I talked about, from the Enzo Amore situation to Raw 25 to NXT Takeover and the Royal Rumble, and of course the now new Women's Royal Rumble, and who do your picks and predictions are for both shows and both pay-per-views, if you will. And with that said, I will catch you guys in the next video, whenever the hell that next video may be. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend, and everything else in between, and I'll catch you guys then. Peace. See ya.